Tyson Bagent set to start. The Chicago Bears get a little bit of help to this running back room with Roschan Johnson. And is D'Onta Foreman a bell cow running back? All that and more in today's episode of the Chicago Bears Breeze. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talking Bears, our Bears fans talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Big Bardon's in the chat for a Bear dub. We needed it. We got a couple of injury updates, and then I got a big question for you. Number one thing, Justin Fields still doubtful going up against the Chargers. Matt Eberflus said today that Tyson Bagent will probably still be the starter out there until Justin Fields has been cleared, which is good to hear, right? Bagent played a good game. You want to see him be able to go out there and continue to build on that confidence. I love that we're sticking with him. Maybe we don't need the Nathan Peterman swaps in there. He didn't give a good answer for that question either. You know what I mean? He was like, oh yeah, you know, we just wanted to get some guys some different looks in there. What do you on the victory celebration? You want to get them different looks on the victory celebration? Whatever. Yeah, y'all know Flus be lying. Other injury updates, Nate Davis with no change. He will probably be out versus the Chargers. Actually, he will be out versus the Chargers. He is still week to week. But here's the one that really is exciting. This running back room getting a little bit of a shot in the arm as Roschan Johnson has another hurdle, I should say, to clear concussion protocol. Once he clears that, Flus feels like he should be good to go. Excuse me. And Jaquan Brisker also went into concussion protocol, but he has already cleared that protocol. But here's my question for the day to the channel. Is D'Onta Foreman a bell cow back? Or when Roschan Johnson comes back, do we see the Chicago Bears turn to him? Remember, he was ahead of D'Onta Foreman in the depth chart. Doesn't mean that D'Onta Foreman won't be active again. He was inactive, but he was ahead of D'Onta Foreman in the depth chart. Are they going to utilize D'Onta Foreman as their bell cow back, or will they hand the reins over to the young rookie and see what he has in these moments? And I think this is a fair question, right? For a couple of reasons. One, what's the reason D'Onta Foreman was inactive? For me, listen, anytime Velus Jones is on the team, that means that somebody who has talent should be active on the team. But everybody wants to keep Velus, give Velus another chance. Oh, we got to make Velus work. We want to feel good about Velus. I don't feel good about Velus. You know what I mean? I know it doesn't show up in the stat sheet. He's still fumbling, right? I told him on a kickoff yesterday, ball hits the ground, he picks it up, takes a knee. I'm not dealing with this, but it is what it is. The Bears are dealing with it. Shout out Coach Hightower. But outside of all of that, the reason D'Onta Foreman wasn't on the active roster is because D'Onta Foreman is a guy who doesn't do anything but be the running back. Now, Roschan Johnson, he was on special teams. He's the four-phase guy. J-Mac talked about this. We were in studio with Jason McKee and former Bear Adrian Peterson, former Bear Jason McKee as well, but former Bear Adrian Peterson as well. And I was in there with both of them yesterday. And Adrian Peterson talked about when you're that backup back, right? You got to be on special teams. You have to be on kickoff. You got to be, and you have to be conditioned for all of it. You got to make sure that you're on the treadmill. Your body's right. That's not who D'Onta Foreman is. D'Onta Foreman is a running back. That is all you're going to get from him in a day, which isn't a bad thing. Listen, he's a good running back. And I like that we have a good running back as our fourth string running back, pretty much, I guess you have to say, because Travis Homer technically is ahead of him on the depth chart as well. It's good to know that you have that out there and you have those options at running back. But we saw D'Onta Foreman yesterday be able to go out there, take the handoff, dominate running between the tackles, being able to get to the outside as well. Bears mixed in a little bit of end around stuff with the receivers to help with that running game and different things like that. But I thought we saw D'Onta Foreman do something that absolutely steadied a rookie quarterback who was in there for the first time versus a defense that was top five in not top five, top five in passing yards allowed, and is a top 10, I believe, scoring defense in the NFL. Max Crosby's been a monster out there. And a lot of credit still goes to the offensive line. But when you're able to run the football well, you have to look at that guy and say, appreciate you for everything you did. He did an excellent job yesterday. 16 carries, 89 yards, and 3 touchdowns on the day, 2 rushing, 1 receiving. So that is the numbers and the stats that you like to see from a bell cow type of running back. But you still have to ask yourself, what are you going to do when Khalil Herbert comes back? And going into next week, do you want to see something from the young fella, Roschan Johnson? Doesn't mean that you can't have D'Onta Foreman out there and still being a big part of this offense. But the difference in Roschan that D'Onta will not replicate, and there's no chance he will ever replicate it, is Roschan Johnson offers something in the blocking game that some of our offensive linemen don't offer. Like, he's a really, really good blocker. When you see him on punt, when you see him on kickoff, when you see him on even just blocking in the backfield for Justin Fields, he is a really, really good blocker. And to me, I think that's more of what you want in your future. You want that guy that you can hand the football off to and say, you know what, I can count on you to do this when my quarterback drops back. You need to see more from Roschan as far as a runner, though, right? We haven't seen a ton from him, haven't seen him get that huge opportunity, but you feel good about what you've seen from him in his limited snaps. I believe he was running it at 8.6 yards per carry before he ended up getting the concussion, but a lot of those handoffs were going to Khalil Herbert. A lot of those handoffs were the few that were left over that were going to Roschan. You liked what you saw with him running the football, but outside of that, there's just not a huge sample size. I have an entire season of D'Onta Foreman, and I have this limited space of Roschan Johnson. But on the flip side of it all, to me, the blocking comes into play because this offensive line has been very up and down. And you're going up against a defense next week versus the Los Angeles Chargers that, if they're on that day, they can get after you. The Chargers are a weird team, but there's still names on that defense that you have to watch out for. You still got your Nick Bosa. You still got your Khalil Mack. You still have a ton of concerns when you're going into this Sunday night game about the pressure that's on the other side of you. Now, I love how the offensive line is blocked, but again, when the Bears are in 12 personnel, when they're running some of that 13 personnel, when they're allowing the running back to come up and be able to be just that quick chip guy, right? I would rather have somebody who's more proficient in the backfield at that more times than not. And unfortunately, that's Roschan Johnson. D'Onta Foreman doesn't even try, right? I talked with Lance Briggs today over on the Chicago Bears podcast, and he said, listen, if you're supposed to pick up this block and you like turn into it with the shoulder and then, the defensive lineman comes in and he's like, oh, he's not even squared up. Oh, send a blitz all night. You know what I mean? That's gonna make life harder for Tyson Bagent. You want to make life as easy as possible for this young guy as he continues to transition into his NFL career. And to me, life is made a lot easier when you have somebody else in your backfield who can step up, who can help you block, and who also can run the football with you as well. It's not like, Roschan's a slouch. He just hasn't had a huge sample of opportunity for him to go out there and carry the football a ton, because when Khalil Herbert went down, he went down right after him. You know what I mean? So hopefully we see a little bit more out of Roschan. I think maybe for this week, you still go with D'Onta Foreman as your number 1 back, but I do think that you're going to have to work in a lot of Roschan Johnson plays if he's able to go versus the Chargers, which it seems like he is going to be able to go with the concussion protocol and all of that. You want to work in him into the offense as much as you can because of his ability to go out. And on top of it all, right, the pass catching ability as well. D'Onta Foreman a little bit up and down. He's got okay hands. You know what I mean? It's not like he's year 1 David Montgomery out here, and no disrespect to David, but year 1 was really rough as far as pass catching. He goes out there and he's serviceable, but Roschan, somebody who absolutely can catch that football out of the backfield, is still going to give you that strong, powerful running action, still going to try and fight forward. Giving you what D'Onta Foreman is already giving you. Hopefully in a bigger sample size, you'll see a lot more of that from Roschan. I think that you could still go in because of the performance with D'Onta as the number 1, but don't be surprised if we see Roschan out there for more of the snaps because of that blocking ability. But I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you think D'Onta Foreman is a bell cow back? Realistically, we're going to have the conversation over on the Breeze today at 6 as well about why we believe that maybe he is or isn't, and does he stay in the lineup? when everything is returning to health. We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze as well. So tune in with us over there at 6. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Bear down, Chicago. Peace.